Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop album review. This is part 249. The album that I want to review is Gravediggaz with 6 Feet Deep, released in 1994. For you guys that don't know who Gravediggaz are, they consist of four members. You got Poetic, aka the Grim Reaper. You got Fuquan, aka Gatekeeper. You got Prince Paul, aka The Undertaker, and you got RZA with the Resurrector. What do they have in common? Three of these members were part of Sonic. So pretty much, the best way to describe it is Sonic with RZA. You have the Gravediggaz with the exception of Daddy O. Was part of Sonic, but obviously he's not in the group. Kind of the best way is similar. The best similarity with that is the same thing with a House of Pain with La Coca Nostra. Pretty much, you got House of Pain with Everlast, Danny Boy. Then you had Slain, and then Ill Bill. Then you have La Coca Nostra. So then that's the best way to describe that. Kind of like a best similarity to, kind of compare the two. So before I get into this album, I have to talk about the story about Prince Paul. So you guys know Prince Paul, was part of De La Soul, and I'm glad De La Soul got their rights back. They have all their albums on streaming platforms, so it's good because people need to hear that. I still need to get Stakes is High, but that's just long out of print. Definitely get my hands on that. But anyways, getting back to Prince Paul, after the success of 3-5 High Horizon, they came out with De La Soul is Dead. At the time, that album was considered to be a failure. It didn't sell very well, whatever the case may be. But that album does have like a cult following. But I think over time, people love that album. It has like a cult following. It's one of my favorite albums from them. But like I said, at that time, the album didn't do very well. And so the Prince Paul, he ended up getting into like a little depression of sorts. And he started experimenting with certain beats. They ended up sounding dark. You know what I mean? And then he actually had some stuff lined up. Like he had a group called Resident Alien. They actually had dropped an album called "It Takes a Nation of Suckers to Let Us In," which was originally Russell Simmons of Def Jam signed Prince Paul, and he signed the group. Russell Simmons shelved the album, which really got him like depressed and things like that. They had a couple singles, "Oh the Doodle Man" and "Mr. Boops." I think was the two singles of the album. It's been a while since you can find the album on YouTube and file sharing programs or blogs. It's been a while since I heard the album. It does have kind of like it has an acquired taste to it, so it's not for everybody, but definitely check it out, you know what I mean? But I definitely gotta revisit that album. But anyways, getting back to that. So like I said, because of him being shelved, that kind of depressed him and things like that. And then so and then fast forward, they end up meeting with each other because RZA was Prince Rakeem. He was on the Tommy Boy Records, so that's how that whole connection was with them. Because since Sonic was part of Tommy Boy Records at one point and RZA too, so that's how they were able to get with each other, and they got together, that kind of thing, and they started he started playing them beats and things like that, and pretty much they liked what they heard. And the reason why it came up as Gravediggaz is because that was pretty much because and then so it was pretty much a resurrection of their careers, because by that time Sonic, they had dropped their last album in '91 called I think Blood, Sweat and Tears, which I just showed you guys on the CD collection video years back. And I don't think that sold very well. That was like the last one they dropped as a group. And and Prince Rakeem, people was really feeling that shit. So him being part of Wu-Tang and things of that nature, like I said, that kind of resurrected their careers, and that's why they call themselves Gravediggaz. And plus the production, the beats that they were rapping over at the time too, and things of that nature. And that's how they came up with the name and things of that nature. And also another thing too. So some of the songs, the demos that they recorded, they they shopped around. They shopped at Jive Records, Def Jam, obviously. Another other record labels, they turned them down. But then they actually went. Prince Paul actually went to Ruthless Records, but then Eazy-E was gonna sign the group, but Jerry Heller wasn't really feeling it. And then according to Prince Paul, the contract was kind of weak, so he's like, nah, I don't want to do that, which is kind of smart because Ruthless Records, when it comes to their catalog, I there's so much albums I want to get from them, but their stuff is like long out of print, and you got to pay kilo price for those albums, man. And they never really got like re-released, that kind of thing. I mean, certain artists like Bone Thugs and things like that, but other than that, yeah, not really. So it kind of sucks. But so like I said, one of the executives from G Street actually signed them, and they believed, and that's how you got 6 Feet Deep. All right. So also the original name of the album was actually called Nigga Mortis. But for obvious reasons, you couldn't sell that here. You can get that overseas. I'm trying to get a copy of the album because it has a song called Pass the Shovel, which sadly is not on the album. But because of the name, obviously they couldn't sell it. But like I said, you can get it overseas, like in Europe and stuff like that. So, and it does have that song Pass the Shovel. The reason why Prince Paul said that the song is not on this album is because he felt like it didn't make sense on the album, so that's why he took it off the album, whatever the case may be. But it's on the Nigga Mortis version. All right. So there are 3 singles of the album. The singles are Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide. Fucking love that song. 1-800 Suicide and Diver of Madman. Those are the 3 singles of the album. All right. So show you what the album looks like. Like I said, I showed you guys Prince Paul. Grim Reaper, Poetic, rest in peace to him. Fuquan, Gatekeeper, Undertaker, Prince Paul, Resurrector, pretty dope. See like a John Doe, like a toe tag, pretty cool. Definitely sets a tone of the album. And then you got the CD right here, Blood Splatter, that's pretty dope. And then you got the infamous RZA Fangs, the Resurrector era. We're smoking the dust blunts. Man, yeah, fucking dope, man. Love that. I love that era of RZA, man. That Resurrector. We was in the ASR 10 making them dark beats and shit like that. You know what I mean? So we would never get back, unfortunately. But he was young, that kind of thing. So I get it, Then you got the track listing, that kind of thing. All right. Yeah. And then you got the shout outs, you got the guest vocals and things like that and things of that nature. So yeah, pretty cool. So the producers in the album is Prince Paul. Prince Paul does the production. I think Fuquan does one beat. Then you got RZA, he does a couple of beats on here, and then you got who else? A guy named Mr. Sign. Yeah. Yeah, so you got Mr. Sign, Grim Reaper, Gatekeeper, Gatekeeper, Fuquan, Grim Reaper being Poetic, a 2 Poetic rather. Yeah. Alright. Let's get on with the album. Alright. I know it was kind of like long-winded, but it was very necessary just to kind of give you guys an idea of the formation of Gravediggaz. Alright. First track, Just When You Thought It Was Over. It was the intro. Is just straight to the point. Kind of gives you sets the tone of the album. It plays the doom 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 doom. Just When You Thought It Was Over. That's pretty much it. It's like 7 minutes long. About like 10 seconds long. So pretty to the point. Track 2, Constant Elevation. Definitely a dope way to start the album. A pretty dope song. Um, the beat for some reason kind of reminds me of Dracula. Like something you would hear like in a old Dracula movie. And the funny thing is, there's an alternate version with Constant Elevation, which was actually featured on the compilation album, which I need to get from them. Hip Hop Gold Dust by Prince Paul. It was a song. It's pretty much the same beat, um, but RZA has like alternate lyrics and things like that. So I just had to throw it out there. But yeah, pretty dope song. And pretty dope compilation. I need to get that, but that's out of print. So but I do like the line by Gatekeeper, aka Fuquan, when he says, "Transferring brains with the remains of a slug. Let the Undertaker make the beats that's bugged. Pass with creating, spitting jeans, chopping necks with fat guillotines." Yeah, that's fucking dope. Fucking love that. So that was track 2, Constant Elevation. Love that. Track 3, um, Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide. Fucking love that song. Love the beat. Love the video for it. The sample that was used was actually the Jagger the Dagger sample. The way Prince Paul made it, made it sound so dark. Like it's so ill. He just made it sound so atmospheric and things of that nature. And I remember I read somewhere that RZA at one point he wanted the beat for Wu Tang. You know, that would have been fucking dope. Like I could see Method Man, especially around that time, rapping over that RZA and just Method Man. Oh my god, that shit would have been fucking sick. You know what I mean? But I don't think it would have fit on the 36 Chambers album. You know, I think that would have been like maybe like a 12-inch, like a little after, or it could have been. It could have even been on Tikal. It would have been dope on that album. You know what I mean? Just the way that album sounded, which a lot of people hate on that album. But anyways, getting back to Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide, dope song. One of my favorite songs of the album. Love the video for it. I love the line by Grim Reaper, aka Poetic, which is, "Ah, fuck it, another day to another ducket. From here to Nantucket, MCs kick the bucket. I'm rugged and rough, blowing up till I bust." While while other rappers flat on the white girl's butt. I've always loved that line. That shit is so dope. Fucking love that. So that was track 3, Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide. Track 4, Defected Trippin'. Dope song. In this song, they all talk about different ways of getting high, things of that nature. Um, Gatekeeper, Fuquan talks about smoking weed. Green Reaper talks about sniffing glue, and smoking sodium pentathol, which is pretty much what you use for lethal injection and things like that. So I thought that was pretty pretty interesting. Oh my god, that is crazy, man. There's a line by Grim Reaper that I like when he said, "Know what I see when I trip? The rats in the basement all start to flip. All through my building from door to door. I swear there's a fire, so I piss on the floor. Not down the corridor was old fat Ned, scheming in the block blowjob from a crackhead. He was like a One Piece little man. I was like, y'all better off my hand." Like it's so funny. I fucking love that. I love that. I've always loved that line. That shit was so dope, man. But yeah, smoking sodium pentathol, like I said, is what they use to, for the prisoners that's facing a lethal injection. And that's what they use, smoking that? Like, that's crazy. Holy shit. That's funny, man. So that was track 4, Detective Trippin'. Dope track. Um, track 2, track 5, excuse me, 2 Cups of Blood. Fucking love that. I love the back and forth between RZA and Poetic. I mean, that shit is so dope. The story with that song was that with Prince Paul, he made the beat. Um, he said that beat was like a throwaway track. But RZA loved it so much. It's like, and then Prince Paul was like, "Yo, you really like this track?" And I could relate to that because I've made beats and I've sent to people, or I've made people listen to some of my beats, and I thought the beats would be okay. But then they were like, yo, let me get them. I'm like, yo, you like that? I'm like, all right, here you go. All right, bet. So, you know what I mean? So I could definitely relate to that. So yeah, track 5, 2 Cups of Blood. Like I said, love the back and forth between RZA and Grim Reaper. When I like the line when they said, yo, deadly, yeah, get ready. Here comes the style wilder than Freddy. Cause cause of Kruger. Boom, I do ya. Just let a grave digger come into ya. Dead, stinking, rotten, bring your brain cells forgotten. The past you had your bumper ass picking cotton. Fucking dope. Love that. I know Tyler the Creator. He did his own rendition of Two Colors of Blood. Was cool, but obviously I prefer this. He actually did a decent job, but I was thinking, man, I would have loved a rendition of Gravediggaz, like Tyler the Creator, um, Earl Sweatshirt, them two together, Prince Paul on the production. That shit would be so fucking dope, man. But of course that never happened. But only one could wish, Um, yeah. So that was track 5, Two Colors of Blood. Track 6, Blood Brothers. Fucking love that song. One of my favorite songs. It's actually my favorite song of the album. This is the first song I played in the beginning of the video. Um, that was produced by Fuquan. And this song just tells about them struggling, but the love they have for each other can never go away. You know what I mean? Just based on what they went through and things of that nature. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just a bond from them, despite them, going through hard times and things like that. That bond can never be broken. And that's what I got from that track. I love the beat for that shit, man. RZA, to me, he had the standout verse in my opinion. Love the line when he said, "A rusty ass child with tears and snots acquired the knowledge how to master my thoughts. My skinny frail body couldn't fuck with the sports. 6'2", still whack on the court. So I stalked New York with a black pitchfork. My style date back to 1990 watt Kanye box. While it be clocks with no socks." Fucking love it. That's that 70s shit right there. Love that shit. Because Clarks at that time in the 70s was pretty popular in New York. Especially with the Jamaicans and things like that. But yeah, man, love that track, man. Dope shit. Love the beat for that. I remember when I first got this album, like I would constantly play that song over and over and over. So shout out to you, Fuquan, for that beat, cause that shit goes hard. Track 7, 360 questions. It's just a skit, just talking about um 360 ways to act. 360 questions as the grave digger hits, just 7 of them. There was one as I got a question. Do you all eat ass? Pow. Each question they ask to get a gunshot. Pow. So I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, that was funny. Track 8, 1-800-SUICIDE. It's another single. That was pretty dope too. There is a video for that too. They just talk about different stories of people committing suicide and things of that nature. I believe that song was actually featured on the Demon Knight soundtrack. From, the Tales of the Crypt, one of the Tales of the Crypt movie that came out in '95. I think that song was featured on that soundtrack, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, pretty dope. So 1-800-SUICIDE is pretty much a hotline that they made themselves of people calling in, talk about ways that they're gonna kill themselves and things of that nature. So there was a line by Grim Reaper. Once again, Grim Reaper's that dude. Um, in his verse, he talks about a trust fund kid that he wanted a Benz, but then his father got him a Jeep. So him being ungrateful, he's like, he couldn't appreciate that, so he got depressed and shit like that. So there was a line where he says, "I guess you're ready for the graveyard tour. When you get home, just seal up your windows and your doors, turn up your oven on high for about 4 hours, light up a blunt, kiss your ass goodbye, you gas yourself because it's suicide." Damn, that's deep, man. All because you didn't get a Jeep, you want to kill yourself? Like, come on, dude. Like, that's just corny, man. You know what I mean? Suicide is not killing yourself, is not the answer, but there's only so much you can do. So, suicide is not to play with. You know what I mean? If you're going through stuff, please talk to somebody. Let people, you know, let people hear you, man. You know what I mean? There's people out there that do care. You know what I'm saying? Although people do suck, but people do care, man. So, this is, try not to do that, please. You know what I mean? You are loved. We all love you. What we're going through, we all love you, man. So let's not do that. All right. So 1-800-SUICIDE. Also, there's a RZA remix called the Poisoners remix, which is fucking dope. Which I wish was on this album, but I understand why they chose this version because the beat kind of has like a happy somber feel to it. You know what I mean? It's like it's very fitting. You know what I mean? But yeah, um, 1-800 Suicide, man, that's a tribute song right there. Track 9, Diary of a Madman. Fucking love that song. One of my favorite songs of the album. I just love the whole court the court scene. Fucking love that. Very fitting. Yeah, really, really dope. Just dudes that, commits murders and shit like that. Just like just facing trial and things like that, and it's just them defending themselves in a court setting, and it's just them talking their story. I thought that's pretty dope. Dope concept. Love the video. Man, in my opinion, Shabazz the Disciple and Killer Priest, I think they had the best verses in my opinion. Um, Man, I love the opening line by Shabazz the Disciple when he says, "Be a witness as I exercise my exorcism, the evil that lurks within the sin, that terrorism, possessed by the evil spirits, voices from the dead. I come forth with grave diggers in a head full of dread. I've been examining ever since I was a seaman. They took a sonogram and seen the image of a demon." Oh my god, I fucking love that. And then like that whole line when he says, "Giving niggas brain dipples, dragging their asses by the hooks to the temples." I fucking, oh my god, I've always loved that. He fucking killed that shit, man. To me, it was actually the first single of the album. Definitely sets the tone of the album. Fucking love that. I know, like a couple of years back, I think like back in like 2010, they actually dropped a video with Shabazz, Killer Priest. I think I want to say Fuquan. They're gonna bring back Gravediggaz, but that never came to fruition. So, which is unfortunate. But yeah, dope track. Fucking love it. Everybody did their thing. All right, track 10. Mommy What's a Gravedigger. Short track, dope track. There's actually a longer version of Mommy What's a Gravedigger. I believe that was actually a 12 inch. I think it was on the um yeah, it was on the B side of 1-800 Suicide. Um yeah, fucking dope, man. Dope track. I like the line when he says, when Resurrected, when he says, "The bloody ferocious attack hits the body, explosive diagnosis, fatal like multiple sclerosis." Love that. That shit was dope. Mama was a great digger. Like I said, the extended version, I think it's about like 4 minutes long. It's on the B side of 1-800 Suicide. I just had to throw it out there. Like Chuck D said, B side wins again, right? So, very true. All right, track 11, Bang Your Head. Um, yeah, not my favorite song of the album, but I do like the lyrics. There's actually a different version. That was produced by DJ Madhead, I think his name is. He was the producer for the British hip hop group called Brotherhood. He made that version, and that version is fucking dope. It's called Bang Your Head, the Basement Mix. I'll post it down in the description box. You know how I do. I always put down the like the goodies of the album and things like that. Fucking love it. I wish that version was on the album. It just sounds so fucking. It sounds like something RZA would have made around that time. You know what I mean? Production wise, but I do like the line by Fuquan when he said, "The Killer Brigade, the Killer Brigade. 12 o'clock starts the raid. Torches lit over your grave. Feel no pain, though expose the raven. Deep in every step of blood like Wes Craven. You are eject the fume that spells doom. The wickedest flow sweep up like a broom." Fucking love that. That shit is dope. So that was track 11, Bang Your Head. Track 12, Here Comes the Gravediggaz. Fucking love this song. Love this song. That beat is so ill. That was produced by Mr. Sign. That definitely sounds like something that could have been on Method Man to Cal, just based on the beat. That sounds like something RZA would have made around that time. Especially, that Method Man would have killed that shit. But yeah, Here Comes the Gravediggaz. Fucking love the beat for that shit. Love the line by RZA when he said, or Resurrector, where he says, I learned to burn rap germs like antiseptics, then release a piece of music lyric epic. Words like Proverbs blended, braided, strong like a song from King David, personality vital, holy as the Bible. Can't you allow to worship false idols? No, new form of literature. Dance to the fiddler. Don't mean to riddle you. God, I'm not the Riddler. Woo! Fucking love that shit. Don't shoot for the moon. No wait for high noon. While the others face doom, I tomb. I don't squawk like a hawk, like a stork, like a stork. But I walk in New York, stay away from pork. Fucking yo, RZA fucking killed that shit, man. Again, imagine that song, RZA's verse on Tikal and Method Man speaking when he's yo. That shit would have been fucking dope. Woo, man. That shit was dope, man. Love that. It's like that and Blood Brothers are probably my favorite songs of the album, or two of my favorites. The next song, Graveyard Chamber. Oh my god, another one of my favorite songs. That song was actually produced by RZA himself. Killer Priest, man. Oh my god, he fucking killed that shit. I love the line by Killer Priest when he says, I strike your beam and watch it gleam. I'm solar, steadfast, patient like Noah. The rap cipher be the enlightener. I prey upon the weak, the strong. I'm a sniper. I'ma light the eyes like gasoline. I took your chest to the jar of Vaseline. Yo, come on. Killer Priest is that nigga, man. This is pre-heavy mental, heavy mental. Which I gotta do a review on that album, but definitely stay tuned for that. Definitely that's coming. Not sure when, but I definitely gotta do a review on that album. Yeah, dope shit right there, man. Showers track 13, Graveyard Chamber. Love that. That's one of my favorite songs of the album. Track 14, Death Trap. Fucking dope song right there. Um, in the song, they talk about different stories. They talk about different stories of people dying their foul ways and things of that nature. I like the line by Fuquan, aka Gatekeeper, when he says, "A nigga named Steph was shooting up meth with some coke, had a stroke, so I choked for his death. Time has arrived, falling in one mind. All the sin stepping in my face is a grin." Damn, that's deep. Fuck. As you see a nigga fucking coking up, he smoked meth, and then he smile. You see him, yo. That's mad grim. Holy shit. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, so that was track 14, Death Trap, and I love the use of what's gonna call it of that sample Ain't No Nigga. I forgot the original sound. I think it's called the 5 minutes of funk or the 7 minutes of funk or something like that. I forgot the name of the sample. But yeah, I just love how they made it. I like how Prince Paul made it dark, you know what I mean? Really dope. Track 15, 6 Feet Deep, the self-titled track. Dope story with this song. So when they were supposed to record, they were supposed to wait for the engineers to come to, for them to record the songs. The members of the group, Gravediggaz, they was just fucking around. They was using the tambourines, playing with the pianos and things like that, just fucking around. And RZA liked what he heard, so he recorded that into his Sonic ASR 10 and made that as the beat. So that the little jam session that they had going on by themselves, the unplanned jam session that they had, he made a beat out of that. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy, yo. So that's why it sounds like all off beat and shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it worked in his favor. Speaking of Resurrector, my favorite line from him is from him where he says, "Demonic, the Sonic is banned like chronic, and niggas be already faster than Sonic, bubonic, platonic. You best to hop on it. Beats be being programmed, ASR and Sonic." So like I said before, at the time the weapon of choice for RZA was the Sonic ASR 10. I have the one before that, the EPS 16 Plus. RZA used to have the EPS 16 Plus, but he gave that one to True Master. So that's how True Master was able to make all the classics like Brooklyn Zoo, Fish by Ghostface, Milk the Cow, all the classics, you know, from the 90s and the 2000s and things like that. So I just had to throw it out there. And then track 17, rest in peace. It's just RZA just doing an outro and things like that. So yeah, but yeah, overall classic album. This is a masterpiece. This definitely should have been 5 mics, but you know at the time this came out in '94, so um, you know this came out at a time that people didn't really understand the concept, and it wasn't for them. You know what I mean? It was like frowned upon because they talked about death and different ways to die. I was like, yo, what the fuck? You know, so, and I just have to give a disclaimer too. This is not a Wu. Gravediggaz is not a Wu affiliated group. It's not. Maybe later on they became, but when they came out with this, they weren't considered a Wu affiliated group. People were doing that because of RZA, but if they weren't. It wasn't until I would say like but even with the second album, which I will do a review on as well, um, they weren't really they weren't really considered to be a group, a Wu affiliated group. You know what I'm saying? Oh, before I forget, I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna. Oh my god, I forgot. I almost forgot to mention this. So getting back to Diary of a Madman, um, there was some controversy with that because RNS, um, the in-house producer for Shaheem, that produced for Shaheem's first album, aka The Rugged Child. So there was some controversy with the song itself because he brought in the sample into the session, but they said that he didn't record it. He just brought the sample, but Prince Paul actually did the beat for it. You know what I mean? And they were trying to give RZA the credit because you know RZA being the producer, but you know Prince Paul was like, nah, like that's I made the beat because like I was the one that programmed the drums, I programmed the beat, I chopped the sample and things of that nature. So there was a lot of controversy with that. I just had to throw it out there. I forgot to mention. I can't forget. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, getting back to this album, 5 mic classic in my opinion. I think the top 3 songs for me, I would have to say, is 2 Cups of Blood Brothers, Here Comes the Gravediggaz, and Graveyard Chamber. Those are my top 3 songs. Um, great album. Love this album. Man, if you could get this album, I highly recommend it. If you can get the Nigga Mortis album, get the album. But, you know, again, good luck trying to find that because that shit goes for stupid money. It goes for like kilo prices. I've seen it for like $100 on eBay, $50, and it was like, whatever. So, but yeah, I'm just glad I have this. But yeah, Gravediggaz was 6 feet deep. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like the album, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know. Alright? Peace.